Good morning and happy Friday, April 22nd. Welcome to PsychCandy for this time. Hey guys, Anthony, glad to see you. Elizabeth, glad to see you. Hope you guys are having an amazing end to your work week anyway, getting ramped up for maybe a good, fun weekend. I'm hoping to have a really relaxed weekend. I need it after this week. so I'm gonna try to do something that's just gonna be relaxing and nice, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, so guys, you know, I speak a lot about I deal with relationships a lot, and I deal with like helping people that have come out of like abusive and bad relationships, and just and when I say relationships, a lot of people immediately go to a romantic, but this can be like friendships. It could be even with family members, but narcissistic abuse is huge. But some of the tactics that get involved there doesn't necessarily have to come from just narcissist. And what I'm talking to you about today is gaslighting. This segment is the pretty glow of gaslights. And there's nothing pretty about gaslighting. Gaslighters are those glorious people who try to control others through manipulation. And they're going to accuse you of behaviors that they're engaged in themselves. This is just a classic manipulation tactic. I like to describe gaslighting as kind of a series of manipulation tactics used to discredit you, devalue you, keep you off balance, and have you kind of question your own true reality. And gaslighters use these tactics in order to get sometimes revenge over you, or be vindictive to gain control over you. Those tactics, and when we get roped and hooked in to those people who are gaslighting you, it is one of the most emotionally damaging and destructive points you can be in a relationship, because it really does. It makes you start questioning like your own thought system. It makes you question, am I really the one that's wrong here? Is all these problems that are happening right now, or is it really just my fault? I'm a bad person. And the thing is, you're not. 90% of the time it's just them. And gaslighting does predominantly, it does come majority from narcissistic people. But again, it's not just those people. Now, I was just talking about some of the tactics. And let me share some of those. And then you think about, do any of these tactics apply? Have you been through this? And not just with your romantic partner, but maybe you've been through this with friends. Maybe you've been through it with family members. Maybe just colleagues that you work with. But gaslighters, the tactics, they blatantly just lie. They lie about almost everything. They pit you against a friend or a family member. If they can cause strife or cause you to have discord other places, well, that's an easy place for them to try to maintain that control. Working to align others against you, telling others that you're crazy, you're the one that's unstable, or you're the one that's being manipulative. Lying about things they said and did, even though you swear those things happened. And they probably did. They probably did happen. But they're going to lie. They're going to twist that. Telling you, that they don't like your family and friends. But really don't have a reason. Very vague reasoning. Why is that? Because they can get you distanced from that position. Having a support system. And a lot of times these people that gaslight, and especially in relationships, they cheat. They cheat in relationships, yet they're going to accuse you of cheating. They'll accuse you of being addicts, being an addict, when they're the one that is the true addict. They'll accuse you of manipulation when they're the ones who are constantly doing the manipulating. Listen, gaslighters will accuse others of these actions even when there's direct evidence that they're engaging in the same behaviors. I mean, strong evidence. So why do they do this? Because they're making their preemptive strike, or they're projecting. Let me talk about preemptive strike a second. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to share a preemptive strike tactic. Okay? So try to follow along with me here. So in this scenario, the gaslighter is cheating. Okay? Now they're planning their secret meetings, with their lovers, and they get a rush from it. They're investing in keeping up the charade. Okay? So to keep you off kilter, they start accusing you of cheating. And the goal is to keep you so busy defending yourself and being emotionally distraught that you don't have enough time to pay attention to what their behavior is. So by accusing you, the gaslighter has bought themselves time. They can go as far as claiming they saw you out with someone, when in fact you were at home waiting for the gaslighter to show up, late from work again. Gaslighter has you in a kind of in a bind, as you can't really prove that something never happened. But you try to prove to them that you did nothing wrong, though whatever evidence you produce is not good enough for the gaslighter. See? So you become more concerned about being falsely accused rather than paying attention to what they're actually doing and what their behavior is. The gaslighter may even present evidence, mostly false evidence, but produce evidence to others of being manipulated by you. And this evidence may be completely fabricated by the gaslighter, or the gaslighter takes facts and manipulates them, or just kind of forgets to share. So, for example, the gaslighter tells your friend that you are cheating because you claimed, quote unquote, you were working late a few nights this week. And you actually were working late a few nights, this week, which was to maybe earn extra money in overtime or whatever the case may be. But the gaslighter conveniently leaves this part out when they're bad-mouthing you to your friends or whatever. So when you remind them that you told them you were going to be working late, they deny you ever told them, and then bring up another reason why they're convinced that you're cheating. See, again, it's to keep you off course. It's to keep you in a defense state. Because, again, now you have to be focused on trying to defend yourself. Because that lets them stay in control. Now, for example, and this is kind of an extreme example, but follow along. Let's just say that the gaslighter in your life is maybe addicted to heroin, all right? You suspect that they have stolen money from you to feed their addiction. Now, before even getting a chance to confront them, the gaslighter calmly tells you that they are concerned that you're an alcoholic, right? So you immediately go into defense mode, as no one, has ever accused you of this before. So you feel shocked about it. So it throws you into a tailspin. So the gaslighter brings up times where they knew you were drunk, yet you don't recall any of these times. The gaslighter may even accuse you of blacking out and claiming that's why you can't remember. So you start questioning your own sanity in this situation. And this is exactly the goal. So meanwhile, the gaslighter keeps using and stealing because they've got you focused elsewhere. You're focused on trying to navigate, why would they be saying this and I don't remember any of this, and no. And besides direct contact with the victim and their family and friends, the gaslighter also uses social media as a way to accuse and deflect from their own behavior. The gaslighter knows that once something is posted, once you post something on Facebook or whatever, the information travels really quick, right? And the gaslighter is also in a position of power on social media by never having to answer questions about the truth of their claims, thus perpetuating the gaslighter's lie. So they're building their arsenal by doing that. They're trying to plant firmly their lie and make their lie so well spun that there's too many factors to really dive into and dissect, right? Right, then we get into the point of projecting. Now, the gaslighter may accuse you of being manipulative because they are projecting. And one of the most commonly used defense mechanisms, I can't own up to my behavior, so I'm going to put it on you, you know? So while a preemptive strike is a gaslighter's conscious choice to manipulate you for their gain, projection can take place on a conscious or unconscious level. So while some gaslighters are very aware that they are putting their behavior on someone else to get what they want, some who are projecting are not aware that they are doing it. So in either case, projection is an unhealthy behavior and should not be tolerated. Now, some gaslighters unconsciously project out of guilt and shame. So in the case of narcissistic personality disorder, narcissists feel they are totally fine and okay and think that everyone else has the problem. And this is called egocentric behavior. And it's very difficult to get a narcissist gaslighter to get help through like counseling or whatever because they think you're the one with the problem, not them. Projecting behavior can get to the point where a gaslighter delusionally believes that they are being persecuted by the victim, by you, when in fact it's the opposite that's true. So whatever the origin of the gaslighter's, accusatory behavior, they are still 100% responsible for it. Treat all cases of accusations towards you as what they are, which is just an accusation, not a fact. Because there's no need to spend extra energy trying to defend yourself, because it will never be good enough, ever. And instead, take a hard look at whether the behavior the gaslighter accuses you of is actually something they are doing. Don't let the smoke and mirrors get in the way of uncovering the gaslighter's behavior for what it is. Manipulation of you and others by way of accusation and distraction. Dealing with gaslighters can be one of the most destructive partners, ranking up there with the pure-on narcissistic sociopath. So this article is kind of designed to help you learn some of the signs and develop a strong recourse accordingly, so you don't fall into that gambit, you don't fall into that place. And a lot of times, if you're in a situation where you suspect that, well, then take that time to take the pause and really look at what's going on here. Because most times, if you're being accused of something that you know flat out is just 100% not true, then chances are it's being done to cover something up. It's being done for them to take a different course or a different direction to get you off track. And this is when you can learn those tactics of just, really watching for those signs, really watching for the smoke and mirrors. That's going to help you start building a much better, resonance about yourself of that you don't fall gambit, you don't fall into their hole, you don't fall into that manipulation tactic, And the thing is that gets a lot of people is that sometimes the gaslighting and so forth, man, it comes from somebody that maybe you love. I mean, you love this person. Maybe you might have years invested in a relationship. So in your mind, it's going to work out. You're going to talk to them. It's going to sort. And people, chances are it's not. Chances are it's not going to sort. And most times, if you've already fallen to the cusp where you've been subjected to this, if you watch and really look back, it progresses over time. And why is that? Because they get better at it. They get more crafty with it. I mean, There are expert gaslighters. Expert. I mean, the master in their field. And you got to think about that. I mean, you do something long enough and repetitive enough, well, guess what? You're going to get pretty damn good at it. And the same is true with just manipulation, crafting a lie, you know, being in control, making you feel like you're the one with the problem. And that becomes an art to people that gaslight. It becomes an art. And I compare it with that because you know it's the same processes that happens in the brain. The same exact processes that happens when an artist develops a system or a strategy of how to create the art they have in their mind. That's a scary thought, isn't it, though? Yeah, I don't want to meet that creative of an artist. And I have. I've been there. I've shared that in a couple of stories. My last relationship. Oh man. She was a professional gaslighter. Professional. She deserved a certificate on the wall, man. You know? And, you know, we have to be mindful of really looking now at how people talk to us. When we get into the argument, what's the argument about? And is it truth? Is it factual? When you're being accused, that's what it is. It's an accusation, first off. Now, if it's true, then you got to deal with that. But most times with a gaslighter, an accusation is going to be a false accusation. Or it's going to be one you just can't put you can't say 100%, but you know, you can't say yay or nay to it sometimes because you got to think, is this actually true? Am I guilty of this? And most times, no, you're not. Now, I would like to open the stage up if anybody wants to come up, ask a question or anything, share your experience in this matter. You're welcome to do so. I want to thank you guys, though, for being here, and I hope you're able to bring something out of this that you're able to utilize because, you know, that's the goal. Nobody deserves to live in this capacity. Nobody deserves to struggle through this thing without some resources of your own that you're able to utilize so you don't fall target to it, you know. And that's the thing. We don't want to fall target. Well, guys, I want to just kind of mention a couple of things to you, if you don't mind. Number one, I invite you to go to my website, PsychCandy.org. There, if you go there and go to articles, you will see a lot of the shows that I've done. Well, that's where the articles are posted. That's where they're submitted out. That I've written over the course of a few years now. And also, if you click on the Livecast link, there is a form there. So anybody that wants to be a guest on the show for specific topics, like you really wanted to dive deep into a certain thing, there's a form there that you can fill out, and then I can contact you and we can set up a time to do that. The other thing, too, is musicology is really kind of taking a life of its own. Me and the Real Skinny started this now, 3 weeks ago? And so if you go to musicology.world, that kind of tells you what we're doing every Saturday at 2 p.m. And so join me tomorrow and Skinny tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the next musicology segment. And it's just been a fun show. We just kind of dive in and really talk about music and the passion of music and so forth. So I think it's going to be a good thing. We bring in special music artists on a regular basis, and we got quite a few people lined up. So yeah, make a note of that. Otherwise, guys, I hope that you're going to do something amazing, beautiful, and wonderful for yourself this weekend. Have a blessed and amazing rest of your Friday. And until next time, be happy,